I love listening to people talk about writing. I love listening to people talk about business. I'm just kind of obsessed with the whole thing. I spend literally hours and hours a day either writing copy or, building my business, working with my team. So I thought, why not give it a go and try these vlogs? Okay, so time for the morning coffee before we start the vlog. Belly fits. Here we are. There's nothing better than coffee when you want to write. Okay, almost done. Here we are. So I'm in Portugal currently. Well, I live all around, but the weather doesn't seem very Portuguese. It's been mega cloudy, super rainy. There's a gorgeous swimming pool. The camera's not focusing. I'm not very good at actually the whole camera thing. But haven't had a chance to swim at all because it's winter. Okay, so I think these are vlogs. So the coffee's here. There are beautiful coasters, or whatever you call them, in this flat. Like they're very Portuguese looking, Portuguese style kind of thing. Anyway, I decided to give it a go. I'm not sure if these vlogs are gonna work. We might quit them altogether. I'm trying to see if the camera's focused. I think it is. I'm not very good with the whole camera thing. I'm still learning. Anyway, so I thought, I love listening to people talk about writing. I love listening to people talk about business. I'm just kind of obsessed with the whole thing. I spend literally hours and hours a day either writing copy or, building my business, working with my team. So I thought, why not give it a go and try these vlogs? So we'll see if they work. But I guess one of the premise of the vlog would be that this channel is around the topics of copywriting and building a business through writing good copy. So whether you are a copywriter who's building their own business, or you are an entrepreneur who has a company, who has a product, a service, and you are using writing in order to sell your products. So I guess I am not a traditional copywriter in a sense that, or this is not a traditional channel in a sense that at this point in time, I do not take on any copywriting clients anymore. I only copyright for my own business. And in some cases, I even hire copywriters to copyright for my business, and then we work together. Like when it comes to actually giving advice in terms of, getting clients and stuff, I'm sort of revisiting things that I've done in the past. But I really feel that the sole goal of copywriting is to sell, right? It's selling through words. It's being persuasive. It's being effective. And I feel that's exactly what I do day in, day out in my businesses. And I have a couple that we'll talk about in these vlogs. And I write, multiple pieces of copy, landing pages and so on, and Facebook ads, and, keep testing things in various niches. What I'm trying to say that whilst this might not be, a vlog where I go, well, I'm writing this type of copy for my client, it will be more of a vlog where I talk about writing my own copy for my own businesses and working with my copywriters and my team, etc. But I think it will give such a unique insight into how powerful copy is, and how I really built these businesses just because I taught myself how to write. That's why I believe in this channel. That's why I want to be doing this whole copywriting thing, is because I really feel that if you know how to copyright, you can really build any kind of business. Whether you want to sell shoes, whether you want to sell your copywriting services, whatever you want to sell, copywriting is the way. So there are a couple of things that I'm really focusing on today. And so one is filming a new YouTube video. And before I do that, it's the matter of going through the script first and just sort of seeing what the video is about and what the languages that I'm wanting to use in the video. Then after that, I have a new product that we're gonna test in January. And that is a journaling sort of program, a journaling therapy program. And we've written this whole landing page. Well, a copywriter has written the first draft. Then I've rewritten it completely. So that's something that I've sort of completed in the past couple of days. and I've sent it off to a proofreader because I love having consistency. So I love just having a proofreader to work with, and that's a relationship that I've started with this proofreader like, a couple of years back. And it's really not about sometimes having the funds to do it, because I think you can find really good people at a very affordable price, but it's really about developing a relationship with the person and who loves reading your work and just having another pair of eyes. And I know that like proofreaders are more common if you are a novelist, if you are, a playwright, etc. That is definitely more common to have an editor, to have a proofreader. And because I come from that background, I think for me it's very natural to just, have somebody that looks at what I've written and goes, well, here's a comma that you missed, and, here's a semicolon or whatever. Anyway, so as part of this day, what I'm focusing on is a YouTube video and the script, looking at the landing page one last time, taking on board the proofs from the proofreader, and getting that finalized and getting the page to the team for that to be up and designed. Another thing that actually for that very product that I'm doing is a quiz. We are creating this whole quiz on self-esteem, on self-doubt, anxiety, not only whether they have anxiety, not only whether they struggle with insecurities, etc., but it's also about how they score in terms of these symptoms, and also how specifically each of these symptoms manifest in their lives, or rather, like if you're anxious, like how does that really come through in your life? So we want to create this quiz that is then going to lead into a product, into the whole journaling program. So that's another thing that I'm gonna look at today. And then I want to also look at some future YouTube scripts that are coming up, and then also for my language school, where we teach Spanish and English in the Lithuanian market, because I'm Lithuanian. So we do have a lot of stuff going on there, and we have like a full team there. So very often they would write a landing page, they would write a Facebook ad or whatever, and then I would go over it and give them suggestions. So, I love doing that, and I just love seeing how people put out sort of the ideas and how we shape them over time. But now there's another project happening there. We want to have a go at a Spanish-speaking market with our language school, and we want to translate some of our products for the Spanish speakers. So that's our goal. That's what we want to focus on. So most of the things that really I focus on, I'm not sure if I can show you, but basically Slack is my life. Well, it's kind of that way, I guess. So Slack is really my life. So this is where everything happens. So we have a bunch of people that we work with. So I have them all on here, and it's really like Slack becomes my to-do list, and there are all different channels where we have channels for different types of products, copywriting, YouTube, financial, etc. So I always look at my Slack in the morning. The first thing, actually not always the first thing, sometimes the first thing that I do is writing, but and then I kind of contract, I kind of look at the list, and then I deduce my to-do list based on that. Okay, so I'm kind of done going over the proofs for the landing page for the product that we're gonna test in January, and that is the journaling program. So I think that would be a really cool thing for us to just simply go over let me see if this is a good angle though. It would be a good idea, I think, for us to just go over the page and just see what I've done in some parts of the page. And yeah, I think it would be quite a nice learning experience. Okay, but let's adjust the angle. Okay, so I think we are good to go. So I hope we're gonna have some stuff on the screen for you to see what I'm talking about. But I just like to talk about the logic of the page and how we came up with it. So what we are doing at the start, so I'm saying, I'm immediately identifying a couple of famous people that, that have used journaling as a tool. So I'm saying that Richard Branson called this as a secret life hack, Oprah Winfrey, said that this would change your life. So I'm identifying people that basically I'm identifying famous people that I know the reader would identify with, and then going into talking about the journaling program. And prior to that, because this is going to be as a result of a quiz that people have taken, as I mentioned. So what happens is that we're gonna, like sort of lead into it as a plan. So like now, like everything that we're talking about is almost like a sort of journaling plan that we're offering people. Okay, so then we went into the main sort of headline, which says, use this growth journaling plan to overcome anxiety, self-doubt, and boost your self-esteem. So what we're doing here is immediately, obviously, pointing out to these pain points and also the key pathways that we have within the program, that if the person comes on board, they can work through the symptoms that come up for them. And then we do mention, like we break down all the sort of like we bullet list all the benefits that the program is going to give the reader. We are planning also to include a video here. Another thing that I'm bringing in is also I'm saying that this plan and this program is based on these several scientific studies and sort of fields of science. So I'm saying, like the program is based on expressive writing therapy, cognitive behavioral science, and primal and relational therapy. So these are all the things that I've studied, either with, clinical psychologists through various workshops. This is basically my hobby that I do in my leisure. And then I'm also giving this announcement where I say no prior experience in writing or therapy is needed to follow the program. And I think this is very important because I'm thinking about objections that people might have immediately, even before we get into objections later on, is because I know that a lot of people will look at something to do with writing and they will say, well, writing is not for me, or, I hate writing and this doesn't work. So I want them to know that they don't have to have any writing experience. And then later on, I will also specify that this is nothing to do with writing beautifully or writing fiction, etc. Because people, would have done essays at school and they still have this allergy to writing since then. And then I've crafted this, what could be looked at and thought of as a sales letter. And in that sales letter, what I do is, again, I sort of speak to people's pain points. I go further into showing how the program will help them. And then most importantly, I lead the reader into my story and I share how this method that I've created, this journaling program and this method, this therapeutic writing method, has changed my life, which is true. And that's an honest account. So I use my own story as social proof. And we're obviously going to sprinkle a lot of like other social proof, meaning testimonials from our clients, from people who've taken different writing workshops created by me in the past. So we're going to have lots of that, but I wanted to use my story to illustrate it because I think that's really powerful. As a lot of the time, I think you basically have to preach, basically I have to walk the walk, And then I sort of like include a box of sort of a breakdown of what's included in the program. So that's really to emphasize the value and what, so people really think, oh my God, I'm really getting a lot for what I'm paying. After that, we go into objections really. So I go, most journaling and therapy methods take too much time, didn't give you step-by-step directions, get you fixated on negative emotions, cost too much, and so on and so on. And then, so basically I talk about all these objections people might have, which is time and money and this negative stigma around therapy and around journaling, sometimes for some people, obviously not everybody. And I go on to basically debunk all these objections and these myths that perceptions that people might have. And I, like basically share how this might not be the case with this particular program, and how, my program is different. And then like we have one sentence that I think we're gonna illustrate as a very visual thing. We're gonna have probably like these sketched people, these little icons, sort of broken down in different sort of stages, portraying the sentence, which says, by putting your thoughts down on paper, you create a distance between your life experience, which is your thoughts, actions, and feelings, and yourself. So basically you get this sort of distance by writing, and then you can objectively assess where you are at. I should probably add this, like this helps you assess where you are at and then deliberately take action. And then what happens further, I go into, that's why growth journaling will help you get daily me time, spark genius ideas, and choose the stories that shape your future. So here we debunked all these and tackled all these objections, and we want to then transition into, we spoke about the method a little, and we want to like really round it with the benefits and this sort of like dream vision. Later on also I share my story in more detail, which really crowns the whole page. Okay, so then we're gonna have pricing, we're gonna have what's included in the program, we're gonna have everything broken down. For example, saying the 12 workshop self-development program will cover, childhood trauma, body issues, mindfulness techniques, emotional regulation, and so on and so on. And, so we'll list everything all the way. And then we're gonna have the cost of one session with a therapist is, $90, $100, $200, and we're gonna cross that out. And then acquiring the lifetime skill of growth journaling, I don't know exactly what the price is gonna be, but we're gonna say something like 80 cents a day or something. Yeah, and then we're gonna move into the last piece, which is, can this method really transform my life? Which, people are really skeptical a lot of the time with these kind of programs. And because it's something that I've created and it's something that I've used and I really dearly believe in it, I share my story of literally how I went from, being a theater director, achieving success, not being really happy with it, quitting the whole thing, working on my trauma, on, my emotional issues and my mental health issues, and doing that through journaling, and then as a result of that, achieving a very different life, a very different and fulfilling life, which entails moving to Bali, traveling around the world, training as a samurai in Japan, building a 6-figure business. And so basically the story, reinforces why this really helps and how this helped for me, but at the same time, it builds authority and credibility on my part. And I'm still toying with the idea of including a little bio about myself, which would, have more information. Yeah, and then lastly, we're gonna have frequently asked questions where we're gonna tackle more objections, and also answer practical questions. Yes, and I haven't decided whether I'm gonna finish the whole page with the bio or not. So, I love writing these landing pages. It's really, really hard work. And in all of these videos that we have on this channel, I talk about, how do you write, a good landing page, or how do you write a copy that's persuasive and effective. So I do, practice it every day, and it's a craft. I think, I'm seeing it with myself and my own sort of path as a writer. Basically, every time that I write a new copy, a new landing page, a new ad, I realize that I've got better than the last time. And it's an amazing feeling to have, but it's really, the fact that, practice makes you perfect. And it's really about, breaking down the mechanics of copywriting, and looking at and learning how exactly copywriting works, how to transfer your text and ideas onto paper in a way that incites action on the part of the reader. And yeah, so that's my little vlog. Okay, so I did some check-ins with the team, checked that basically everything is on track and, you know, being implemented. Now I have a mentoring call that I'm mentoring as part of this program that I have on building membership sites. And I mentor entrepreneurs, solopreneurs who are building up their membership business. So I have a call now, and I haven't got around to recording another YouTube video, but yeah, I need to do that right after my mentoring call, because for the next couple of days I'm taking them off because I have a friend visiting here in Portugal, so we're gonna go and roam. And although I'm pretty much a workaholic, I'm also, I think, a lifeaholic, in a sense that I definitely balance out intense periods of work with intense periods of fun. So, you know, like for example, in summer, I would take 3 months off sometimes, you know, well, 2 months usually, sometimes 3. And like during Christmas now, my partner and I, we're going off to Madeira, an island in Portugal. And this is where I got lost a part of my day-to-day because I was trying to find a car to rent in Madeira, and because my driving license hasn't been valid longer than a year, it's very, very hard to find a company that would rent us a car. Anyhow, so that's like a little bit in between of me talking about copywriting. So now I'm gonna jump on the mentoring call, which in fact actually a lot has to do with copywriting mentoring, because all these entrepreneurs that come on board, they all need to learn how to position their memberships, how to talk about their memberships and their, you know, offers. And like I would say 40%, 50% of it is actually how you phrase it, how you talk about it. And, you know, we end up actually doing a copywriting mentoring session. Yeah, so anyway, I'll keep you updated. Okay, so the mentoring call went well. Actually, nobody turned up to the call, so I just had to go over questions and certain like topics just by myself and send out the recording. So it felt like, you know, I've been talking the whole day to myself, doing this vlog and now on a mentoring call. Okay, so I'm coming to an end with my work. I have one more thing to do, and I'm gonna edit a script for my next YouTube video. So that's what I'm gonna do. Oh, and I'll have to upload the videos that I filmed today and this vlog that I filmed today. I'll have to upload all of that. And yeah, and I think that will be pretty much for today. This was my first vlog. If you'd like more of these vlogs in future, let me know in the comments down below. Also, let me know what else you'd like me to talk about in this sort of format, because it's sort of quite new and I'm just testing it out. And yeah, that was sort of almost a day in my life, I guess. Accidentally, I covered probably most of the things that I've done today and worked on. And I hope that they were not only entertaining, but also of value and giving some takeaways, some practical advice on actually how to become a better copywriter or entrepreneur. And I'll see you in the next video.